stands for.
How is everyone tonight?
Wonderful, thank you.
Well, that's one of us. I'm struggling a little bit today, so Dustin's going to run the meeting because my vision is shot. And if we could stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance and have a moment of silence, just as a point, Phil Harsh's wife died, which is Heidi Royce's mother. So if we would remember them.
Our Brookville Middle School assistant principal.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dustin. Everyone, this is Dustin Gehring. He is our new superintendent as of last month. We wish him all well, and if you want to come up and greet him afterwards, remember he likes punched.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, team, we're going to just start right at the consent agenda items, start with our minutes. So the minutes have been presented.
Is there any discussion?
Nope. We'll make a motion to accept the minutes, expenditures, and resignations.
I'll second.
Is there a motion?
Yeah.
I can't tell who did what, so.
Yeah.
Did you see who?
We have Kevin and Rick.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Next up.
We have expenditures that have been given to you. Any discussion?
Is there a motion?
We just done that on the consent agenda items. That was all in one.
So you,
Minutes, expenditures, and resignations.
A, B, and C.
Yeah.
All together. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Next up is grants and donations. We have none.
None there.
Next one are personnel new hires.
All right, I'm just going to read these through. We have Julie Poe, paraprofessional at BES. We have Hannah Kazel, a new teacher at BES. We have Trent Liggett, principal at Franklin County Middle School. We have Isabella Runebaum, teacher at Franklin County High School. Jacob Hedrick, assistant principal at Franklin County High School. And Shannon New, assistant superintendent. Superintendent recommends the following new hires as listed.
Did we leave out Emily Hatch?
There was another one listed on there.
So Emily Hatch, I don't have on my list.
I've got her right on.
Emily
She's a
Hatch,
teacher
teacher
at
at
Franklin
FCCSC.
County Middle School.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I apologize. Thank you very much. Good
Okay.
catch. Emily Hatch, teacher at Franklin County Middle School. Thank you very much.
All right.
How many more teachers do we need to line up so that we're there?
I believe we're at 2.
Okay. thank
Two
you.
elementary.
I'll make a motion to accept the new hires.
That would be Kevin.
Second that?
Beth is second. All in favor? 7-0? I don't know.
I'd like to take one pause if we could, if that's okay. We do have a couple of folks in the audience with us. If you would like to meet them and maybe even acknowledge those guests that are with them, if that's okay.
Yep.
Mr. Liggett, would you mind standing and maybe even coming to the podium and introduce us to the guests that you brought with you? Say hello to the board.
It's all right if my wife Cheryl just stays there, correct?
Well, that's up to Cheryl.
That probably prefers that.
I would leave that to her.
Superintendent Gehring, School Board of Trustees, my name is Trent Liggett, and I will be your new principal at the middle school. I'm very honored for the privilege to be a part of the community, and hopefully I can help the students and the staff become better people. And I brought with me my beautiful wife Cheryl with me, so thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Jacob, can you join us at the podium?
You won't do it. It's a trap.
I'm Jake Hedrick. I was actually here last year between the middle school and high school, so I'm glad to be back. Very appreciative. I left my 3 kids at home. They're all 8 and under, so I don't know if this would have been the best place for them, but I'm looking forward to getting back in the building.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Congratulations.
And Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I am Shannon New. I'm really excited for this opportunity. I have spent the last 2 weeks with Mr. Gehring and excited to get this school year started. I have brought with me my husband, JR, who you'll probably never see again. My daughter, Alexi, her significant other, Ethan, and then my son, Connor, and then you know most of my Laurel staff.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Shannon, thank you. And do you mind taking your
Are we going to
seat?
take pictures up there of our new staff?
Probably have to go.
Sorry, now I'm going to act like I'm fine.
That's okay with you?
Well, normally we give them a chance to leave in between employee comments in the end, so that's up to you.
After we finish the business, then they can leave.
Okay, let's keep proceeding then, right?
Okay.
Our business? Yes?
Okay.
Yes? Till we get to the comments?
Okay.
How would you like to proceed?
Going with the personnel.
Okay, very good. We have no further personnel retirement at this point, and then we get into our personnel extracurriculars. So we have a number of folks there, so I'm going to read through those. We have, I apologize. Yep. Braden Cowan, varsity head golf coach. Jalen Rogers, assistant varsity volleyball at Franklin County High School. Lauren Stacy, JV volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Kristen Campbell, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Kayla Campbell, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Craig Roos, assistant varsity volleyball at Franklin County High School. Haley Latarullo, C-team coach at volleyball at Franklin County High School. Danielle Butt, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Kirsten Schell, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Cassidy Schell, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Nick Van Oven, volunteer volleyball coach at Franklin County High School. Daniel Ward, boys soccer volunteer coach at Franklin County High School. And Michael Wiseman, girls soccer volunteer coach at Franklin County High School. And then in addition to that, we have Allison Cochran, co-athletic director at MCS, and then Rachel Tussey, co-athletic director at MCS.
Is there any discussion?
I'll make a motion to accept all of the extracurricular recommendations.
He did that so fast, but I hope that I'm appreciative of all of our volunteer volleyball coaches. And hopefully that will get our numbers up so that they get some individual coaching. But that's quite a few, but hopefully that helps our program. So,
And on a positive note, it also makes
yes.
sure that the end of your banquet is full. That was a joke. Is there any other discussion? Board action.
go. I think
Make a
we may-
motion to accept.
Kevin?
Second.
Beth? All in favor? Oh, I thought you two were voting no.
All right, next item here is an overnight field trip, boys soccer camp, July 15th through July 17th. The information is in the enclosure, but it's Anderson Soccer Camp, and there's our itinerary listed there. The superintendent recommends approval of this soccer overnight camp as listed.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have Rick, motion, Kevin second, all in favor? You got me on that one.
Thank you. All right, we shift down now. Unless we want to pause for a second, do you want to keep shit going, or do you want to pause for our guests?
At this point, if
Yes.
you would like to leave, because normally things get a little bit boring, it's normally end of just bookkeeping. You're more than welcome to leave, or if you find us extremely exciting, you may stay.
Very good. All right, our next step is our financial reports, corporation financial report. Go ahead.
Yes, the corporation financial report, the education fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 was $5,898,368.38. A year ago, this balance was $3,810,470.92. The operations fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 was $5,276,346.10. A year ago, this balance was $2,428,760.28. The rainy day fund balance has stayed the same between this year and last year, with a total of $1,068,712.84. The investment interest earned year-to-date as of June 30th, 2024 was $311,552.75. This is compared to $138,882.79 a year ago.
This is a discussion only item, I believe.
Kendra, where is our rainy day fund invested?
Currently, it is at FCN in our cash balance with the majority. We do also still have the, so our cash is split between First Financial, FCN, and the investment account. So we do have those, but we haven't, it's kind of hard to explain that our cash is spread between those, but within the fund, it has stayed the same. If that makes sense.
Absolutely not. I guess my question is, we're told it's dwindling long-term, and yet I see these numbers increasing. Why do we see the numbers increasing?
Over the last few years, we have used Stifel's advice very strategically and been able to take out bonds to do capital projects to help our operations fund balance grow. And with that, we have also had a substantial amount of grants due to COVID that have helped the education fund stabilize. Now those are coming to an end, so we may or may not. We have done a lot of things internally to help kind of reduce costs over the last few years, but those ESSER grants, they are dwindling and almost finished.
Okay, so as you know, the ESSER funds are going away and such, how much impact will we have on our substantial budget for going forward?
So between the first, second, and third round of COVID relief grants, I honestly, I don't want to give an exact number because I don't know off the top of my head, but that is something I can provide for the board at a future date.
I just think we want a ballpark, really.
I'm not exactly for sure. I'll get back with you.
Thank you.
But also, in addition to the ESSER grants, we have had a lot of retirements, which we've been able to shift people, moving staff around. Our staff has been extremely helpful in that sense and been able to pick up. So we have been able to reduce costs. We've done things internally that the board's aware of. to help make sure that these balances grow or stabilize. So in the future, we hope to see these stay where they are. I feel like we're in a good spot now that we can move forward. In a good place.
Thank you.
I have one more question, Kendra.
Yes.
If we have that much in our rainy day fund and we have it invested in 3 banks, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Essentially.
so that's quite a bit of an investment. We're not getting a good return, or?
So between our average interest rate right now that we're receiving is about 4%. The Trust Indiana is earning about a 5.3. FCN is right around 4, and I believe First Financial, it fluctuates a little bit more, but it's right around the high 3s, low 4s. So we're getting a good return. Once you start seeing the balance of all of these, we're seeing as you can see in our investment interest earned, we're seeing great returns.
Okay, so.
What we need to be careful of, though, is these numbers could change, couldn't they?
Absolutely. I'm not one to say that the market is stable by any means. I'm no expert in that, but I will say we've seen a great return in the last year. So.
And it can be moved almost instantaneously. Am I correct on that?
Same day. Yes, it can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra.
I have a question. If we're getting under 5%, the other banks, why don't we go to the Indiana Grow?
We can, and that has been a conversation that I've had with Mr. Gehring and Francis about moving, because our one account is growing here at FCN, and there's an option. We're earning 4%. Maybe we move a little bit more into the Trust Indiana that's earning 5.3. It's been just a conversation. I want to reach out to all of you guys and get your blessing to do that before I move forward with anything more concrete.
Yes, and I don't think we want to put all of our eggs into a basket, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Because if it turns quickly, we could wind up hurting on that.
Yeah, but you can, how fast can you take it out of there?
Same day.
Same day.
And it does not lose money, correct?
It hasn't.
But I'm saying you don't, it doesn't go down, it's not the stock market, it doesn't decrease.
Correct.
Is there a time frame on that when you think about the Indiana Trust? That's the one that you could move same day,
Same day.
and
Yes.
there's no risk?
It's invested in paper products, low money markets, very, very stable products that are slow moving if they were to start decreasing. So it would be, I monitor these every week. So if it was to start to take a turn, I can move it at any time.
Yeah, and we wouldn't lose hardly any.
No.
Again, you wouldn't lose anything, correct?
It
doesn't.
You could lose, but it's very, very slow. It's like it would take months to see.
Does it cost anything to?
No, there's no transaction fees.
As you know, the market is, I don't know what they're going to do with the interest rate. I don't know what they're going to do now. So I think we need to be on the cautious side of, not so much cautious that we don't get an increase, but I don't know what they're going to do. They keep talking about interest rates coming down.
That's the last I heard.
Yeah.
They were coming down.
So,
And I'll definitely.
and I know you'll do that.
I'll keep my eye on that.
Yeah, I know you'll do that.
To me, I think it would be a good idea, if you're getting 5 compared to 4, even though it's a percent, it's still more money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ken, do you want to continue to the cafeteria and latchkey?
Yes. Yep. Okay, so the cafeteria fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 was $556,941.58. This is compared to $611,570.10 a year ago. The latchkey fund balance as of June 30th, 2024 was $23,181.73. This is compared to $12,071.75 a year ago. I do also just want to make a quick note. Jessica DeFawcett, our food service director, has been seeing very high participation rates on the summer feeding program. So we want to thank everyone for utilizing that, and really glad that she's continuing that through July to help feed the students of our county.
I do want to say on the record that I have heard nothing but positive things from the whole community on how good the food is, how easily accessible the food is, and I think that's a great service that we can provide our county.
Absolutely.
I tell you, as someone coming in new, I was blown away with the volume, capacity, and quality
Yes.
of what's happening there. And I've been, when I was doing some building tours, I got to meet some of the staff putting those things together, and the heart and the love that goes into each one of those meals is incredible. So big shout out to her entire staff
Yes.
and her leader taking that on. It's been a very successful summer for sure.
Yes.
Do you want to say something about the Latchkey Fund? We're going to start utilizing that, correct?
We are, yes. So as you can see, it did grow compared to last month, which I know you're thinking it's June. How did that happen? We had parents make payments at the very end of school. Those got deposited in June. But yes, we are looking at having those people who are running that program buying more supplies, more games, really investing that back into the students that utilize that program.
Thank you. Under item 5 for celebrations, always things to celebrate, but nothing official tonight. We took a moment and celebrated our food service folks as for sure. For statements from the public, I didn't have anyone who signed up to speak tonight, so I believe we're good on item 6. And then in current state, our statement from employees, I didn't have anyone sign up for that either under our current status. I'm on item 8, which is the superintendent's report. Just a couple things to report out. First off, I want to welcome all of our new staff, welcome them to the corporation, and thank them for choosing us as much as we've chosen them. Big shout out to our coaches as well, always putting in extra time, and we're very thankful for them. I also want to take a moment to give everyone that has issued me a very warm welcome a thank you for that. I have felt incredibly welcomed around the corporation through emails or personal engagements, and from the board as well. It's been a very welcoming environment. I know that as difficult things come, it won't always be quite as welcoming for sure, but I'm enjoying the moment for sure for right now, and thank you for that. I do want to take also a moment, and I haven't met a lot of our teachers yet, and that time's coming, but I have met a lot of our leadership team, both here and in the building. And I just want to take a moment, having been around a lot of leadership teams in my tenure, I am incredibly impressed with the leadership team that we have here. Those that were already here and then also joining the team as well. I've been very impressed with them and the work that they're doing. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you to them as well. I've been blown away by the work that they do. A couple things. Our staff kickoff is in 4 weeks. And we're going to do something a little bit different for this. And so information is coming your way. But on the morning of our staff kickoff, we're going to be welcoming our staff into the high school with a lot of commotion, if you will. And I'll spread the details on that very soon. But we're going to welcome the board as well as the community and parents and students to line the sidewalk to encourage our teachers as they walk in the door and celebrate them. You can start making your posters now for sure and get excited about that. But we're going to throw a pep rally for our staff and get them excited about coming back to school and tell them how much we love them and care about them and that we're excited that they're here. So more information coming on that, but if you want to go ahead and mark that for yourself on our first on August 5th in the morning. In addition to that, we have students returning on August 7th, and this is just about 4 weeks away. It goes very fast, and there was an email today that was sent that we're at that kind of halfway point of the summer, but in reality, the second half goes a lot faster than the first half. And so we are really getting ramped up and prepared for the return of our students, and it's just around the corner. 4 weeks is not very long at all. I want to just give a big shout out to our fair participants and say good luck to all of them. This is new for me. We don't have fairs necessarily where I come from, and so I'm very excited to be around and to see what's happening. But we have a lot of participants. I know that's true, and a lot of them are competing with all kinds of different skills and talents. I can't wait to see them show off what they can do. I know I'm going to be amazed about some of the things that they can do, in particular that I've never seen before. So I'm excited about that. It's new for me, right? And so I just want to say good luck to all of our fair participants. And lastly, from me, I want to give a really big thank you to Toby, our tech here at Central Office, as well as all the folks who contributed to our new website. Our new website is live and active, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, we're going to find some hiccups, and we're going to get those hammered out, but it is absolutely beautiful, and what a great upgrade from our previous model. And so I'm very excited about that, and so that is live and out there for you. So, you about to say something?
Yeah, just one comment. I was not able to get on. Was everyone able to get on the Google Drive? Okay, we'll check that up to my inexperience.
Okay. Noted. Very good.
Okay, I'd kick you if you were closer.
Understood. So we have an item 9, which is some old business. And so we are having a conversation, I believe, today around the policy for employee participation at board meetings. And so we have a discussion and potentially board action in this area. If it's okay with the board, I'd like to make a small suggestion, and you guys can run with it from there. I wonder if it would be copacetic to the board to make a shift under item 7 and item 6 and kind of combine them into a statement from stakeholders. And so that anyone who's a stakeholder would, of course, include our community, and any of our employees would then be into that section. And that section will be governed by our board policy that currently states just what it says. Everyone's given 3 minutes, a maximum of 5 individuals to address the board regarding the same topic, issue, or concern. And then individuals are asked to avoid repetition and shall not be permitted to use names of individual employees or students. So I wonder, just as an early conversation piece, if that could get us further along in the sense that we can combine that into one section and refer to it as statements from stakeholders. And of course, they'd still sign up through the same process, and all those same rules would govern that. Just an idea, but of course, it's your decision, so I leave the conversation to you.
I will tell you, I was contacted by a lot of teachers who would like to keep it separated out. They had Kelly Biddendorf, the president of the Teachers Union, got hold of me and said there was a lot. Teresa Callahan gave me some. There were numerous people that had contacted me thinking that they should probably have a little bit different say than the public with just a little bit more time to express their ideas.
Going off of what Dustin mentioned, if you look at all of the surrounding schools, it says stakeholders or patrons or citizens. There is no employee comment section. It's not that we don't want to hear from the employees, but the examples I've spoken to several teachers and they see no problem with putting them together or not having it. But the examples that were given in an email are things that should be taken care of in committee meetings or getting together in work groups ahead of time. This is supposed to be a business meeting, taking care of business, not for grievances. If it's something to do with curriculum or things like that, we're going to be discussing that early on, I would hope. If not, we have other issues. And as was said in a previous meeting, if there's an issue that they feel that they need to come to the board, we probably already know about it. If it hasn't been resolved before that stage, then we probably have another issue that we need to take care of.
And how do we take care of that?
How do we take care of what?
Another issue.
Well, if
You said if they don't take care of it, we have another issue.
meaning that the issue is not resolved or dealt with or whatever, so we need to have a conversation, whether it's Mr. Gearing talking to now the assistant or the principal or working our way down
I
to
would
see
like
where
to
the
think
breakdown was.
that most people are going to follow the chain of command. And Dustin will have heard, or Shannon will have heard, long before what the complaint is. And that it should never really hit the boardroom. But in the event that their problem is with a board member, Dustin has zero power.
If we want to put 6 together with 7, I think it needs to have a grouping of public comments and then teacher comments. Then it takes away from having two separate entities there. So as I said before, and I still will say again, our teachers are us. We make things happen by maybe the advice, by the hearing of the teachers that we have a problem. Kevin should know last year we had a problem. They did come to the board. That was one situation, and I think, like I said the last time, there's only one other situation I can remember that it ever got to the board. So Shannon and, Mrs. New and Mr. Gehring can listen to all they want, but if they still want to come in and talk and inform the board, I think we need to listen to them. Yes, they need to go through chain of command. That's in our policy. Also in the union, you go through chain of command. There are situations in the union that you follow this, this, and this, and then you don't have anything else to go but go to the board. So I really think that we need to listen to our employees as well as our public. Thank you.
My issue with combining would be just simply that, for Beth's reasons, as well, we do need to listen to both, but it causes a restriction. Because now the first 5 who would sign up on whatever topic it is that would bring them in that's it. That's all you hear. So that's my issue, is it may potentially limit the voice of these employees, or the public, if the first 5 are the teachers that are signed up. So we are limiting voices by combining, rather than making 2 separate.
Well, I think what needs to happen is, in order to address the board from the employee comments, there should be a meeting that was had with Dustin, or superintendent, if you will, to where he has a chance to resolve the problem and address it. That way it's just not flying out there, and I think it's up to him to maintain a reasonable solution for what's going on and approach the board with it, because that is his job.
As I said, Francis, they need to follow the chain of command.
I think we've seen that too. It's never used. 2 times in recent history we've used this, or I think one that I can personally say I've been a part of. So it's oftentimes not going to be used.
So I have a question. If we did combine them, and say there was an issue where someone a group of people wanted to come to the board and they were combined, could we not make a resolution prior to the board meeting to allow employee comments or public comments to be extended for a certain amount of time?
You could do that both before and during comments themselves. As a board, you can make that decision. Absolutely.
Because more than likely we'd probably know about it before it was coming, so as a board we could make a decision at that point, but not necessarily every meeting have to have 2 separate things.
Randy, I can remember that a few years ago that we had 3 minutes on participation from the public, and they were very upset when the president of the board said, okay, your 3 minutes are up. I don't think we need to be here till midnight, but I think that they need to come in with a time limit and to not tell the whole story again as 15 people want to speak or whatever. We don't need to hear the whole story, but we need to hear their particular point on this issue. And we've encouraged people that come before the board, if you are going to say the same thing as the two people in front of you, can you please combine your statements? And that way we still get the idea of what you're trying to talk about. And I would encourage, as the teachers, when they came in and spoke to us, that was very much, they combined their ideas and made it so that we understood what they were trying to say.
We have the statements from the public because they are the stakeholders that their tax money funds this corporation and business. It is not a meeting for grievances. If there is something that we know of ahead of time, they can request to be on the agenda and speak. We can make that exception. That's basically what we did before, because this isn't even in our board policy. The rules for statements from the public is. I don't understand why it would be so difficult to just make it statements from the public or patrons or stakeholders or whatever. That's what most of the employees are. If they want to come as a stakeholder and speak to the board of the corporation, that's great. If there's an issue in the education department or with the school, then it's probably been dealt with up the chain of command. And if it needs to come to the board, then we can make a motion or make a special agenda item.
Let me ask you, Kevin, when all the teachers came in before, what were we going to do in that situation?
Well, what we did,
No. What would we have done if we wouldn't have done what we did?
exactly what we did, because we had to vote on the rules because the rules did not
Exactly.
exist.
So we need a policy to tell them what they can do and what they can't.
But we didn't even follow those rules. We made them up right
We
then on the
didn't have
spot.
that situation before.
I know, and that's what I said at the time.
So
was-
we're trying to do a policy to let the teachers come before us.
And there is a
explain their
policy as
situation.
statements from the public.
No,
Okay.
there is not.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, Kevin, is if the policy is there and it's separated out, what difference does it make? And you have added items to the agenda as we've gone on, which changes what the public may or may not expect to hear. This way, there's something that if the teachers are hot under the collar about, it gives them a way to vent. And I think it's very important because we're not the highest paid corporation around by even one stretch of the imagination. We're really struggling, and I think they need to have a say in what they think. And if it doesn't make any difference, if the policy is the same, what difference does it make?
And I'm fine with, if you want to leave it on there, but the same rule, but there again, if it's going to be the same, why not just put them together and it's all there in one?
I would make one difference and give them 5 minutes to speak because they have more pertinent and information than the public would have on most things.
Well, Francis, if you'll remember back, that's
I
what
can.
we did. Yes, you can. Remember back, we did give them 5 minutes.
Yes. I think it's really under the control of the board president to operate the meeting in a controlled fashion. I thought it was done very professionally. No one went after anyone, and it was controlled. I'm going to ask Dustin a question here, not that I'm trying to drag you into it. You watched that meeting, did you not?
I did.
Did you think it was done professionally?
I didn't have anything that said it was unprofessional. That's
Okay.
correct.
Well, that's a trick question.
Jerk answer.
So, when are you running for president? No. I would just like to make the motion that we have an employee section for comments, 5 minutes, no more than 5 people, and no names outside of that. It is what it is. But I do think we need to preface, before an employee speaks as an employee, they need to have a conversation with Dustin. And if he does his job right, then it won't ever reach the board. It's just a safety level.
So just to be clear, right now, right, as of this moment, we have a section in the agenda that has no limits whatsoever, right? And
Correct.
so I think the situation that occurred, that I was able to watch on YouTube, not in person, led a conversation around, do we need to have some rules here around how this operates? There just wasn't any rules before. I think that night you guys decided on some rules, and to Kevin's point, you kind of made them up at the moment. Okay, what do we need here? What makes sense? I think if we're going to have some rules, which that's up to the board to have them or not, So the first question is, do you want to have employee comments, yes or no? The second is, do you want any rules with those comments, yes or no? And then third would be, what are the rules, right? So that's the three layers in my mind as to the conversation. My suggestion would absolutely to allow employees to have comments. Now, whether you combine it into a stakeholders or you keep it separate, it's all the same to me. But I would definitely suggest that you do allow employees to have a chance to have a conversation with you. That's just my suggestion. I also would say, given human nature alone, not any of our folks in particular, but human nature alone, limits make some sense, something reasonable. And so you have, in my mind, a reasonable policy around 3 minutes with up to 5, right? If you're going to say something, you're going to say what you need to say in 3 minutes. But to Francis's point, if you wanted to add minutes because you wanted to hear more, that's that third layer. Does that make sense? So, not that in my mind, it would need to take 3 votes, but is there any comments around those 3 layers that says, do you want to keep the employee comments? Do you want to have any rules? And then what are the rules that you want?
Francis, you said I would like to make the motion. Did you make that motion?
I guess I did.
I will second that motion with the addition of the rules being the same as public with the additional time from 3 to 5.
I'd like to amend the motion and make a motion that if we're going to have this item, we keep the rules the same, with 3 minutes, the same exact rules. We can always change it at that
I'm sorry,
day.
Kevin, could you say that last
I
part?
would like to amend that motion and make the motion to keep the employee comments with the same exact rules as statements from the public. 3-minute time limit, maximum 5 individuals. We can always adjust if need be at that meeting.
I disagree.
I think we've all been saying the same thing over and over and over, and right now it just boils down to, is it going to be 3 minutes or is it going to be 5 minutes? And we've had a long conversation on this, and yes, our employees are extremely important, and yes, they need to go through the chain of command. But if we continue to disagree on where we're going to put that rule, we've got to come to a table. Otherwise, we are not credible to the public or to our teachers.
Do you have a motion, Katie?
I would like to,
There's a motion on the
Yes, we
table
have to
right
vote
now,
on my motion first.
and then there's an amendment.
So just to be clear, the initial motion was around all the rules, but with 5 minutes. Is that agreeable? Does everybody understand? Yes.
And them having addressed you before addressing the board.
With an expectation that
Yes.
they've gone through a chain of command.
Exactly.
I second that.
I'm sorry, I was just going to ask a question.
I'm sorry, go on.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Would that exception for the public be the same as for the teachers? That if they had something to say and we felt like they needed more time to explain, would theirs be extended? I'm just
No,
asking for
because I've always
clarification.
referred them back to the superintendent
Right.
without exception.
Right.
To where they can meet one-on-one back in the office, because, to Kevin's point, it's a board meeting for business. I think it's business when you're dealing with your employees. I'm not so sure it's business if you're dealing with a public comment.
I just wanted to hear you say that.
So
I knew
you're
what you
okay
were
with
saying.
an extension for the employees, but not for the stakeholders?
I don't care if you give them to both.
I would agree with Kevin's amended motion. I would agree with that. Make them the same. We always have the ability in mid-meeting to make that exception and allow more time.
So
I
what
would-
do you do on the first motion? That's got to be resolved, and
Yes.
then Kevin's motion has to be
You
resolved.
would have to vote no on my motion and then making another resolution.
Okay, well, let's go forward with it.
Okay? All in favor of my motion? Nobody likes me.
All right, I got 1, 2, 6.
All opposed?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. Now do we have the amended part?
I'll make a motion to keep the exact same rules as statements from the public for statements from the employees.
And that means 2 separate
Two
sections.
separate sections.
It'll be in item 6, item 7.
I will,
second.
I will second.
Now, wait a minute, please.
Sure.
This should be also stated that they have gone through the superintendent, and this is like the last,
That's an expectation, it's not in the policy.
If it's
Just
in
an
the policy.
expectation.
but
you
it
go
needs
ahead.
to be said that they can't come in here with no conversation with the superintendent or assistant superintendent and take up the board time. It needs to go through the chain of command.
Is that something that you want added into the policy itself, or just, and said out loud? Or do you want to leave that out and just have it be assumed?
My motion is to leave item 7 with the same exact rules as item 6.
And that's been second.
By Jessica, I believe.
Yes, I have Kevin as initial and Jessica as second.
All in favor? All opposed? I can't tell what the vote is.
Looks like we had 4,
I'm still out to
and
lunch.
I'm waiting.
Okay, so what
I'm at
is your
4-2
vote?
right now.
In favor. Make it 5.
So just to be clear, we have a vote of 5-2 to amend the policy, or create the policy essentially, under item 7 to match statement from the public as it stands directly. So it would be stated once, but it would be applied for both. Is that agreeable? And then, of course, as always is the case, just to give clarity, at any point the board wanted to add additional minutes or additional speakers, you always can make those motions and do that work.
Okay, in the,
I would like to make an amendment to that motion stating how many people can speak.
It's already been voted on, Francis.
There
I
is
know.
a
We can
policy
make
that
an
was written
amendment to
up.
it.
Are we
make an
voting on
amendment, you
this?
made the amendment too. I think that, I think it should say, it
because it was
says
an
right here in the
exact-
statement,
well,
it
it's
says
exact.
3 minutes.
It
If
does.
we're gonna do 3 to 5, I think it needs to go in there.
So that's not there now. And so right
Correct.
now, you're exactly right. As it stands, it is 3 minutes for anyone who comes to speak, up to 5 speakers on the same topic. So that's where we stand at this minute.
And
I
that's how it
guess,
is, and you can always make an exception to have more speakers or more time.
Exactly, but we have to
Why would you make a new policy
establish,
and not have everything in it?
we have to establish that standard because I can remember a time during COVID, public comments took over an hour and a half.
Exactly.
So
If that's what you're looking for, that's what you'll get on a hot issue.
Are you
Is that
talking to
what-
me?
Yes, is that what you're looking for?
That's why you have the rules.
Okay, but we don't have any rules on limiting the number of people speaking on it.
we just agreed, we just voted on it.
We do have a
Come on.
policy that was written up. It's an exact replica of the statements from the public, and it does
Okay,
limit
what
5
was the
individuals.
policy as read, because I'm a little tense tonight.
No problem. Just to give clarity. So what was just voted on at a 5-2 and agreed upon is the following. In order to address the board, individuals must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals that have signed up are given 3 minutes to speak. A maximum of 5 individuals may address the board regarding the same topic, issue, or concern. Individuals are asked to avoid repetition and shall not be permitted to use names of individuals, employees, or students. And that is where we are at this exact
See,
moment.
the problem I have with that is on the same subject. If you want to have it, that there's a maximum of 5 people speaking, I think it's much more efficient because anything else you should be dealing with.
To be clear, but it's not my policy. I want to be clear though. This is 5 on one issue. So you could have 20, 25, 30 people if you had a number of different issues that were talked about under this current policy. So that's the way this reads, and that's the way it stands right this second. And as a superintendent, I would ask you not to change that and to limit it further, because we may have 5 topics on a given night that our folks want to talk to us about. And that's just my thought though.
But what I want to make sure is that if we have 5 people on one topic, that those 5 people can, and that would be probably you or the assistant superintendent, where they would come together and say, look, if you guys want to speak on this, can you combine your thoughts?
So the way that will actually play out in reality is when the 6th person stood up to the microphone about the exact same topic and we didn't know it, they would have to be kind of cut off at some point and say, listen, we've already had 5 on that topic. We certainly on the sign-in sheet can include what's your topic, right? And say, okay, first 5 signed up, that's fine. But we are always going to be vulnerable to that 6 persons saying that. And so we would need to be able to say out loud, hey, thank you so much. We've had 5 on this topic. So that's not always easy for a board to do. I'm just going to say out loud that it's hard to cut people off, but that's the way that policy is currently written.
So on that, it has 5 on the same subject.
That's what it says, sir.
Yes.
That's our current public and now our current employee rules.
And I think that's fair because I think they know what each other are coming here for. And if they're aware that number 6 is going to be restricted, then they'll include their comments. They'll come together, I believe. The two of them can stand there and speak.
I think it's incredibly rare to have a sixth person. Let's just say out loud, it's incredibly rare to have a second person. But if you get to a sixth person, the board could always make a choice at that point and extend if they wanted to, if they really wanted to hear about that topic. I think, in my opinion, just my opinion, but I'm not the board and I don't vote on this policy. My opinion is, as it stands, it's going to be very easy to manage and very much fits our needs. We established that we want some rules. We want some rules around this, and that's fair. And these rules have worked, and so why not have them work again? So I think that makes a lot of sense, but that's just me.
I guess I'm just opposed because I remember an hour and a half comments on board discussions.
And if that's
they
what
were-
it takes,
They were repetitive.
that's,
And if the president doesn't keep it really stern, you will have very, very long meetings, and it's a business meeting, not a complaint session. So allowing 5, I think, is well within reason.
That's where we stand right now.
yes.
Yes, and I don't disagree with you. Having rules is one thing, enforcing them is another. And so I would have to turn to the board and say, okay, if we get to that 6, someone would have to speak up and say, hey, this is where we are. But again, I've gone back into board meetings. I haven't gone all the way back, right? But it's pretty rare to have more than one on any one topic as it is. So to get to 6 would be something pretty considerable and probably something that the board may already have, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and extend this. Sometimes when you have a rule, you also want to have some reason to it.
Right.
And so I think where we sit right now makes sense.
Can you read to me the resolution as it stands?
Absolutely. So what has been agreed upon 5-2 is, again, in order to address the board, individuals must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals that have signed up are given 3 minutes to speak. A maximum of 5 individuals may address the board regarding the same topic, issue, or concern. Individuals are asked to avoid repetition and shall not be permitted to use names of individuals, employees, or students. And team, I would just say this out loud. Let's walk this out for a few months and see how it functions. If we find that 3 minutes really isn't enough and 5 minutes is really necessary, the board can always make that change. But for right now, I think 3 minutes is what we've lived with and what has worked, and so why not have it work going forward? But that's just me. Again, I'm stepping outside my lane a little bit, but just to kind of give summary.
If you're putting the same statement for employees, why not just combine them both and say statement from the public and employees?
So in my mind, the way it would be is right prior to we say we're getting ready to go into our public and employee comment section. Here are the rules.
Yeah.
And from the public, we have these folks signed up. Thank you so much. And from our employee group, they speak. Thank you so much. And then we move on. So it is somewhat. We're not going to read the same thing twice just to read it, right? It's going to be read once, and it's going to be applied to item 6 and item 7.
But you want.
Eliminate number 7 and put statement from the employees and public.
So you want, are you
So
going to?
it's the same thing.
Are you going to make a difference between the employees and the public? I mean, when they get up, okay, this is statements from employees, this is statements from public.
Yeah.
Are you just going to go
Yeah,
down, are
no.
you just going to go down the
You
sign-up sheet?
do well, whichever one you want first. Either
Okay,
the
but you would-
employees,
You would make
either
it,
the employees, yeah.
okay.
The
I don't have a
employees
problem with that.
or the public, yeah. And eliminate number 7, and that, you have it all in one statement.
To be clear, what I hear you saying is on item 6, we would say the words, we're entering into statements from public and employees. We'd read the statement, and from the public, we have so-and-so, they would go. And from our employees, we have so-and-so,
Yep.
and then they would go. So an earlier conversation from the other end of the table was, we wanted to keep that separate, right, to be, identify our employees.
Yes.
Does that still get to what we're aiming at to
Yeah.
identify our employees?
I
But
think
landed
so.
it as only item 6.
Yeah,
I'm good either way, I just want to know your thoughts.
I think so.
So that sounds like it would be item 6, A, public, B, employees. That's,
And we'd say-
sounds to be the same thing to
It
me,
is very
right?
much the same.
Okay.
It's very much the same as just calling it number 6 and number 7, or number 6, A and B.
So if there's no motion, just leave it how we voted on it, item 6 and item 7, with the same rules.
You don't mind if I run the meeting, do you, Kevin?
No?
Okay, thank you.
Well, tonight, sir, I'm running the meeting.
So, are there any other comments about this policy? What I'm going to say is the board needs to acquiesce to the majority vote. And the majority vote is what he has. So that's what we will do. Are there any complaints about that? Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Everybody feel settled? Go ahead, sir.
I'm not, what, so it's,
The vote was 5-2.
Item 6,
Right.
item 7, same rules.
We're gonna put them
That's
together.
it.
you're gonna eliminate item 7?
No. Item 6,
We're gonna put
read the
them
rules.
together,
Item
6
7,
and
same
7.
rules.
We're gonna put them
It's no,
together.
it's no different.
Hold on.
We're gonna put them together.
I apologize. Let me clarify. There was a suggestion. You get to give a suggestion around eliminating 6 and putting it together. That was not voted on or moved on, just to be clear.
Well, I would like to make a motion to eliminate number 7 in the statements from the public and employees, a section A and section B. A, public, and B, employees, and eliminate number 7.
It's a little bit different.
Guys, I'm going
You're
to tell
saying
you
the
this
fir-
is,
You're saying the
We're-
same.
we're
Just a
arguing
minute, just a
semantics
minute,
here.
Francis, I'm talking. If you're saying the
Thank
same thing twice, that's redundant. I mean, you can take care of it all in one statement.
or you could have left it the same and it would have covered it too. I mean, we're changing a policy to change a policy and limit people from speaking, in my opinion. That's okay. I will acquiesce. I don't have that problem.
And I don't mean to intervene, but I do want to, so I heard a motion.
Yes.
So the motion is to eliminate item
Eliminate
7
number 7.
and shift up the language to item 6. And it
Right.
will be read in this way. Item 6, statements from the public and from our employees, and we read the statement, which is the paragraph.
Right.
After that, we say, and from the public, and we hear from them, and then anyone hear from employees, and then we hear from
Yes.
them. That is the motion that is currently on the table.
Yes.
And to be clear, Rick, like the limitations, like the 5 people
Mm-hmm.
per topic, public would have their 5, employees would have their 5, is that what you
Yep.
mean?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, is there a vote to amend?
We need a second first.
Need a second.
Good idea. Is there a second for Rick's motion?
Wait a minute, Katie wants to say something.
If we redo this, what we just did, and it says 6A, say that that's the public, and 6B, and that's the employees, and we're not going to mix them up, it's going to be public, public, public,
Right.
employee, employee, employee.
Right.
Are we combining just for the sake of combining? Isn't that what 6 and 7 says already, and isn't it what we just voted on?
I think we're arguing semantics.
I think we're
myself.
all saying the same thing,
It's just how it's said and who votes what.
and
And I am going to express my opinion that you're going to see a lot of people sign up without restrictions, but that's me. So,
There's restrictions on here.
yeah. So,
Because
let's,
it's still just 5 people per topic. And honestly, in the last 3 years, almost 4 years, other than that one large meeting, we haven't had more than 5 people speak on a topic. I do remember 3 gentlemen coming in with 3 separate papers, section A, section B, section C, so they could get around it.
during COVID, you would be incorrect on that because we had a massive load and there was a 2-hour meeting, Beth, from that. So,
Well, it was just
but,
redundant, I mean, they kept talking about the same thing.
but they can slightly differentiate it and still speak. So, let's just vote on this motion here.
We haven't got a
There
second.
hasn't been a second.
Okay, is there a second? Heck, I'll second it.
So to be clear, so we're on the same page, what we're voting on now is the combining, to have one item 6 with the statement from the public and employees, one address with the paragraph, and then we go to public, and then we go to employees. That's the current motion, and that's been seconded. Is everybody good on that? I'm just keeping my notes clear. Okay? Francis?
They're opaque. All in favor, raise your right hand. I can't see down there, I don't know how many people have their hand up.
1, 2, 3,
2, 3. Are you for it, Jessica?
5, 4. Okay?
no.
And opposed?
All opposed to it? Okay,
All right, just to be clear, it's voted 4-3, so we'll combine those items, we'll read it once, and we'll go through the progression top to bottom. Is everybody okay?
Can I ask who were the yeas and nays because of my vision?
So our nays were Jessica and Brandy, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yes, and Brandy, and then also, was it Kevin?
Yes.
Yes, that's our three nays. Well, team, thank you. Not an easy conversation to get through, but we got through it. Now we have a good process, so thank you very much. Are we ready for new business?
Yes.
Okay. Our new business, I'm going to keep moving on, is that the superintendent is recommending the approval of an updated assistant superintendent job description, just some slight changes here. My favorite item is the last one, is all other duties as assigned. That's my favorite addition to the current job description, but in addition to that, the focusing on instruction as well as human resources as noted. So that's been passed to you. So that is something that needs to be voted on as well as, so the superintendent recommends job description as listed.
I have a question. Human resources, can you tell me just a little bit what that
Absolutely.
involves?
So at the central office level, there's a lot of hiring processes that go through. And so in HR, someone who's in charge of HR would definitely manage all of that, as well as anything on the backside to support our buildings around their hiring processes, as well as any other type of situation that needs to come up with our employees. And so at the central office level, this person, Shannon, would be managing that to ensure that we are doing all the right things and staying in compliance, ensuring that our folks are well taken care of.
Okay, and so you both will be in charge of the new curriculum things that we have to do, but primarily that will be your job. Oh,
We'll work with him.
Yes.
Feed it all back to him.
So in reality, everything falls under the superintendent, right? But when we talk about big rocks that land places, instruction and HR and grants would land under that. All right, so I've given a recommendation.
I'll make a motion to accept the new assistant superintendent
Okay.
lines, job description, sorry.
We'll have a longer meeting.
Okay.
I'm kidding. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Wait a minute, did we have a second?
We did.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Katie, I didn't hear you.
She said it
Go ahead, Katie.
So
I don't know
passes
what that is.
6-0. This is a card from Delta High School. If you want to take us through the next couple items, I'll open it up for us.
Well, that is our next couple items, I believe.
All right. Under other, in front of me, I have a letter of appreciation for Mr. Brumbeck as the opportunity to interview as to be a part of our team. That's what that says right here.
And that's really inclusive of everyone.
Okay. Under item 12, I believe that's where we are.
No legislative updates, but just a reminder for those that had asked, the fall conference is open for registration for ISBA and IAPSS. Yeah, that's September 23rd and 24th.
I do want to say something on that. The curriculum, not curriculum, diploma situation, I guess they are still in lots of discussions. They don't know what's going to happen with that yet. I mean, how are we going to, we can't do anything until they make a decision, correct?
Until they make a decision, we fall under the old guidelines. Until they
I'm
make it-
sorry?
We fall under the old guidelines.
Okay.
Until the new ones are established.
Okay, do they expect to have this out so that we can get, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we to the adjournment?
Not yet.
No, not yet. I have a statement, we're talking about, letting people know what we've done and how we stand out amongst everybody else. Is there any consideration of getting a booth at the fair and presenting Franklin County Community School Corporation at the fair and have people come and ask questions and?
I think that's a great idea. I appreciate that concept. Let me look into what's possible. And we may not be able to cover an entire week, right?
Right.
But I love that idea very much. I do want everyone talking about the great things happening here.
I think we could find several people to cover
Absolutely.
the week, I think.
No question in my mind.
Yeah.
But I want to commit to something I can't commit to just
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
But I do commit
understand
to that
it.
being
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think if they would decide to do that, that we would possibly have something that they could take with them, like
Yeah.
accomplishments of,
Okay.
something. But I don't, it's kind of late, but.
We will look to, we will look to do it, and we'll look
Yeah.
to do it the right way.
If we were going to do a booth as of this year, that deadline has passed already because I work with that. If we have other school booths that would allow us to share a portion of theirs, the tents are being set up right now. A lot of things were changed through the fair. As far as getting your tents, it did not come through the fair this year at all, through the 4-H board. It actually had to be through another vendor. And that deadline for the booth was the end of May, the beginning of June. So, but if we have another school booth, such
But-
as some of our boosters and such, we might be able to use
Cross-country
a
have
corner of
a
theirs.
little awning thing?
Well, the Dance Cats have a booth. I don't know if the band does, but, I mean, they have to pay a fee for that.
Yeah.
So that would, I mean, it would have to be worked out, I'm sure.
I'll cover the fee.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm putting up 12 booths, Rick.
no.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the idea. It's a great idea. Let me see what's possible.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything else? Is there a future agenda request? So do we have any thank yous?
Not today.
Okay, no thank yous. Again, I ask you to remember Phil Harsh's wife. He's been a steadfast component on the school board and in education, and please remember her in your prayers.
And that's our Brookville Elementary Assistant Principal's mother,
No, it's our middle school principal.
middle school
Yeah.
Assistant Superintendent's
Yeah.
mother. I mean, principal, sorry.
I do have one other thing. Sarah, you can correct me if I'm mistaken in this, but I believe after everything closed for submitting your name to run for school board, Ms. Holman and Ms. Brennan are both unopposed, so they will be back next year, so congratulations to them. The other two races have multiple candidates, so everybody make sure you get out and speak with them and go vote.
There are 4 for Rick's district and,
2 for yours.
yeah, 2 for mine.
I just want to say that I've been out of town quite a bit and working, and I was out of town whenever the deadline came, and I was at a conference, and I was an hour and a half late getting my paperwork in. They did not accept it. However, I am doing a write-in for election for school board for District 2.
Very good.
Good.
Is that all there is tonight? If so, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
I don't know who motioned and seconded.
I got
You
it.
Got it.
Yep, sure do.
All in favor?
Thank you, everyone. And if we could have all of our new folks step over, we'd love to get a picture with you with our Wildcat sign.
I'm really